Dutton, Emerson, Evans, Fuller, Gaines, Hancock, Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, LaMalfa, Leno, Ted Lieu, Carol Liu, Lowenthal, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Rubio, Runner, Semidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Vargas, Walters, Wolk, Wright, Weiland, Yee. Alquist, Anderson, Berryhill, Blakesley, Calderon, Canella, Corbett, Correa, De Leon, DeSaulnier, Dutton, Emerson, Evans, Fuller, Gaines, Hancock, Harmon, Hernandez, Huff, Kehoe, LaMalfa, Leno, Ted Lieu, Carol Liu, Lowenthal, Negrete McLeod, Padilla, Pavley, Price, Rubio, Runner, Semidian, Steinberg, Strickland, Vargas, Walters, Wolk, Wright, Weiland, Yee.
Quorum is present. Will the members and our guests beyond the rail and in the gallery please rise? We will be led in prayer this afternoon by our guest chaplain, Senator Rod Wright, after which please remain standing as we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Senator Lowenthal.
Members and guests, we're being challenged with a physical crisis the likes of which has never been seen in California. Sometimes we question whether or not we can find a solution, and we see only despair and question whether or not we can work together. Well, consider this. The bumblebee's wings are so thin and its body so big, it should not be able to fly. The only problem is the bumblebee doesn't know that. I saw this quote from David Lindsay in spiritualist Ilana Van Sant's book, Acts of Faith, and I felt it captured much of what we face here in Sacramento. Ms. Van Sant continued, most of us do not know what we cannot do until someone tells us. We're willing to try almost anything, go anywhere, stretch ourselves to the limits in pursuits of our dreams. And then we talk to other people. We're reminded of how dangerous it may be, how ridiculous it sounds, what a chance we are taking. People have no problem informing us of all the downsides and pitfalls. They cannot see how we will ever reach the goal. They put us in touch with our faults, limitations, and habits. They remind us of all the others who didn't make it, and in vivid detail, they tell us why. They give us warnings, cautions, and helpful hints about alternative things we may be able to do. And when they're finished, we have been effectively talked out of our dreams. Bumblebees don't talk, and neither should we. If you have a dream you want to come true, the only way to it is through it. You must take a chance, a risk, a leap. If you believe in yourself, you will be taught how to fly. This morning I pray to the living God, just as you bestowed blessings upon Daniel, who was facing lions, Moses, who was facing the Red Sea, and Pharaoh on one side, as you did for Sarah and Abraham when they received their son, as you did when you raised Lazarus from the dead. On this day we seek your divine guidance to allow us to transcend all obstacles in order for California to fly. May this be God's will.
We will move to privileges of the floor on this white suit day in our chambers. Senator Gaines is not at his desk yet. Messages from the governor will be deemed read. Messages from the Assembly will be deemed read. Committee reports will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Senator Correa, for what purpose do you rise?
For purposes of introduction.
You may.
Mr. President, Senators, please help me welcome today the owners, my Small Business of the Year, Advanced Beauty College, the Nguyen family, Mr. Min, the father, Dr. Tam, and his sister Lynn, back of the chambers. Let's help welcome them, please. And I also like to welcome Mr. Brian Reed, the son of our manufactured home consultant, Ms. Stephanie Reed. Thank you.
Senator Gaines at his desk. At the Pro Tem's desk in the back. Resolution?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I have here today Mark A. Smith and his wife.
Members?
Mark Smith is an off-roading legend. He is the father of the world-famous Rubicon Trail off-road trek that literally created a new sport and opened up a new industry here in the state of California.
So how do we do that?
Mark was the first to lead a team of drivers from the tip of South Africa to the Arctic Circle, and he led a team of U.S. off-road drivers in the 1987 Camel Trophy, the world's #1 off-road competition. He was named Four-Wheeler of the Decade by United Four-Wheel Drive magazine. Mark is a pioneer who shows true California spirit. He built a sport, he built a business, and built an unmatched reputation in his field. It's my pleasure to honor him today, and he's here to receive a resolution with his wife, Irene. I just wanted to add a personal note. I've had an opportunity to be on the Rubicon Trail 4 times in my Jeep, and it is a Placer, El Dorado County trail. It is truly world famous, and in the times that I was on the trail, we had folks from all around the world. We had some Australians, we had folks from Europe, but virtually every country is represented in the trips that they take through the summer months on the Rubicon Trail. It truly is a treasure, and it's an honor to present this resolution to Mark and Irene Smith. Thank you.
It's hard to say anything, but thank you very much. I really appreciate the honor. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you. Senator Lowenthal.
Thank you, Mr. President. As you know, we're honoring small businesses today. And I have the unique honor, along with Senator Lieu, of honoring a small business that opened up in 1973 or 4, maybe 35 years, in Southern California, family that came from Cuba to open up what was called Porto's Bakery. It is now in Glendale, Burbank, and in the great city of Downey. This small business now employs 700 employees. It is a landmark in Southern California. Members, please welcome Margaret and Betty Porto.
Any motions? Yes, motions, resolutions, and notices. Without objection, item 10, SB 191, will be moved to the inactive file. Without objection, the following bills with floor amendments will be deemed read and amendments adopted. Item 14, SB 653 by Senator Steinberg. Moving right along. Consideration of the daily file. Second reading. Secretary, please read.
Senate Bill 46 with amendments.
Thank you. Governor's appointments. Item 6. Senator Steinberg, are you prepared to take up the governor's appointments?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is the nomination of Ana Caballero as the Secretary of the State and Consumer Services Agency. We all know Ms. Caballero as a former Assembly member. She was heard in the Rules Committee on May the 18th and was approved on a 5-0 vote with support from both business and labor. Ms. Caballero, in her years in the Assembly, earned an impressive track record on behalf of consumers, women, young people, and workers as an attorney, mayor, and small business owner. She's qualified for this job. We strongly encourage an aye vote.
Any discussion or debate? Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Cannella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye.
Yes, call the absent members, please.
Calderon. Cannella. Correa. Dutton. Runner. Walters. Wyland. Wyland, aye.
Ayes 34, no 0. That appointment is confirmed. Members, let's acknowledge a former colleague, Mr. Roy Ashburn, who's with us. Senator Ashburn in the House. Ashburn, aye. Mr. President, Senator Steinberg, item 7.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This is the confirmation of Charmaine Jefferson Johnson and William Turner as members of the California Arts Council. They were approved on May the 18th with a 5-0 vote of the Rules Committee and no opposition. I urge an aye vote on both nominations.
Any discussion or debate? Secretary, please call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Aye. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee. Aye.
Call the absentees, please.
Calderon. Correa. Pavley. Aye. Runner. Walters.
Ayes 36, no 0. That appointment is confirmed. Thank you. Senate third reading, item 15. Secretary, please read.
Senate Concurrent Resolution 46 by Senator Wolk relative to Parks Make Life Better Month.
Okay. Assembly third reading, item 35.
Wait, Mr. President?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you. This is a Senate Resolution 46, which will declare July 2011 as Parks Month in California. It's sponsored by the California Parks and Rec Society and promotes the importance of our access to wonderful parks, trails, open space, and community facilities. I urge your aye vote.
Any debate or discussion? Hearing none. Secretary, any objections to utilizing the previous unanimous roll call? Seeing, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Aye.
Call the absent members.
Berryhill. Blakesley. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Correa. Emerson. Fuller. Harmon. Huff. LaMalfa. Runner. Steinberg. Strickland. Walters.
Ayes 24, noes 3. The resolution is adopted. Assembly third reading, item 35. Item 36. Item 38. Senator Yee, please read. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Bill 184 by Assemblymember Swanson, an act relating to contractual assessment programs.
Thank you very much, Mr. President and Senators. AB 184 would add seismic strengthening upgrades to the type of improvements to private property can be financed with voluntary contractual assessments. This bill is Assemblymember Swanson's second take at this particular item. Earlier or last year, AB 1755 was vetoed, even though both bills have received bipartisan support in both houses. Seismic upgrade and activity is extremely important. Hopefully, this bill will help strengthen all of the properties within the state of California. There's no opposition. Urge an aye vote.
Any debate or discussion? Any objection with using the previously? Okay. Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. Berryhill, no. Blakesley. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. No. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Wyland. No. Yee. Yee aye. Wright aye. Semidian aye. LaMalfa. No. Blakesley aye.
Ayes 25, noes 10. That measure is adopted. Back on Assembly third reading, item 35, Senator Padilla, are you prepared? Pass. Item 36, Senator DeSaulnier. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Joint Resolution 5 by Assemblymember Bonnie Lowenthal relative to transportation.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution by Assemblymember Bonnie Lowenthal merely asks the President of Congress to do a study on the possible use of vehicle mile traveled revenue-generating tax or fee. It doesn't predetermine or try to suggest that we would do this or add to existing gas tax. It's just to do a study. We know that the European Union and many of the countries in Europe are already looking at VMT because of the change in usage of gasoline. So it's merely just to find out and to do a study. We would ask for your aye vote.
Any debate or discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. No. Berryhill. Blakesley. No. Calderon. Canella. No. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. No. Emerson. Evans. Aye. Fuller. No. Gaines. No. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. No. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Aye. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carol Lieu. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Semidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. No. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Aye. Wyland. Yee. Yee aye. Wyland no. LaMalfa no.
Ayes 23, noes 10. That measure is adopted. Item 40, Senator Kehoe, are you prepared to take the bill? Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 38 by Assemblymember Bonnie Lowenthal relative to the Joint Legislative Committee on Emergency Management.
Thank you, Mr. President. This Assembly Concurrent Resolution by Assemblymember Lowenthal continues the work of the Joint Legislative Committee on Emergency Management. It was amended in Senate rules to make the Joint Committee continuous until abolished by the legislature, requires a report to the legislature and the governor every 2 years, and recommendations for improving emergency preparedness. Has strong bipartisan support, and I ask for your aye vote.
Any further debate or discussion? Secretary, call the roll.
Alquist. Aye. Anderson. Aye. Berryhill. Aye. Blakesley. Aye. Calderon. Canella. Aye. Corbett. Aye. Correa. De Leon. Aye. DeSaulnier. Aye. Dutton. Aye. Emerson. Aye. Evans. Aye. Fuller. Aye. Gaines. Aye. Hancock. Aye. Harmon. Aye. Hernandez. Aye. Huff. Kehoe. Aye. LaMalfa. Aye. Leno. Aye. Ted Lieu. Aye. Carolou. Aye. Lowenthal. Aye. Negrete McLeod. Padilla. Aye. Pavley. Aye. Price.
Aye.
Aye. Rubio. Aye. Runner. Smidian. Aye. Steinberg. Strickland. Aye. Vargas. Aye. Walters. Wolk. Aye. Wright. Wyland. Aye. Yee. Yee aye. Wright aye.
Ayes 30. Yes, call the absent voters.
Calderon. Correa. Huff. Negrete McLeod. Aye. Runner. Steinberg. Walters.
Ayes 34.
Aye.
Ayes 35. No, 0. That measure passes. Item 34, Senator Evans. Secretary, please read.
Assembly Concurrent Resolution 29 by Assemblymember Bonilla, enacting the Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month.
Thank you, Mr. President and members. This resolution designates the month of February as Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month. It encourages all Californians, including youth, parents, schools, and law enforcement, to observe Teen Dating Violence Awareness and Prevention Month with the appropriate programs and activities that help prevent teen dating violence and help teens understand how to cope with and create healthy teen relationships in their own communities. Teen dating violence continues to be a serious problem in California, and both male and female teens are at risk for teen dating violence. Violent relationships among adolescents can have serious ramifications for the victims, putting them at higher risk for substance abuse, eating disorders, suicide, risky behavior, and re-victimization as adults. By designating a month to address these issues, it will help raise awareness and help educate Californians. This resolution received bipartisan support in the Assembly with no opposition. I ask for an aye vote.
Okay, members, any objection to using the previously accepted roll call? Unanimous roll call. Ayes 36, no 0. That measure is adopted. Returning to motions and resolutions, members. Senator Vargas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is June the 6th. It is the 67th anniversary of D-Day. I'd just like us to take a moment to remember the thousands of Americans that gave their lives that day. It's a day whose horror maybe has faded through the years, but to remember all those people that rushed the shores to try to preserve our liberty. If we could remember them today, I would ask for a moment of silence. I know that back in my district, there's a very proud young man, Ralph Gianella. His father was on Omaha Beach, and he tells of the horrors of how his friends were falling beside him, in front of him, and everywhere. And miraculously, he made it ashore and he survived. So if we could remember all of those people who were died that day and in those battles to make sure that we preserved our liberty. I'd appreciate a moment of silence if we could, Mr. President. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you, members, for that moment of silence to our fallen heroes. Without objection, Joint Rule 62A will be suspended to allow elections in the Constitutional Amendments Committee to meet Wednesday, June the 8th, 2001, without 4 days notice in the daily file. Senator Leno.
I've been adjourned in memory.
You may.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I ask that you join me to take a moment to remember the lives of two fallen San Francisco firefighters who died battling residential fire just last week in San Francisco, and I ask you to join Senator Yee and me in remembering their lives. Lieutenant Vincent Perez, age 48, who was a 21-year veteran with the San Francisco Fire Department, born and bred, schooled in San Francisco, and firefighter and paramedic Anthony Valerio, 53, employee with the city and county for 27 years and with the fire department for 14 of those years, also raised and educated in the Bay Area, both belonging to San Francisco's Engine Company 26. They were killed in the line of duty, doing what our men and women in uniform do every working day, which is putting their lives on the line to keep our communities and our families safe. They were caught in what's known as a flash fire explosion. It's this inversion phenomenon of sorts where the temperature increases so quickly and exponentially that everything in the room ignites simultaneously. And they were caught in this room as this happened. Vince's ex-wife, Patricia, remembers him as a very special man who lived a great life, while his fellow firefighters remember him as one of those guys who made you feel, in their words, safe going into a fire. Tony's brother, Mark, said he'll remember his brother as free-spirited, quick with a joke, and says that Tony, quote, lived life to the fullest as if each day was going to be his last. The San Francisco Firefighters Local 798 has established trust accounts at the San Francisco Fire Credit Union for the families of these fallen firefighters. There will be memorial masses in San Francisco on Thursday and Friday, and I ask that you join Senator Yee and me in offering our condolences and our thanks to their families, their friends, and to San Francisco's firefighters who are grieving horribly as a result of these tragic deaths. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Leno. Senator Yee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And let me join my colleague Mark Leno in our condolences and grief of these two firefighters. One of the things that I am constantly reminded about their passing is that in recent years, San Francisco has done a rather tremendous job preventing fires from happening. We have rather strict regulations about ensuring that our homes and our buildings are protected and that fire will not, in fact, happen. Despite all the things that we do, unfortunately, these firefighters went into harm's way, and not thinking about their safety, they went in and did what they had to do. And it's a reminder for all of us that we can never make anything absolutely safe, and that whenever we put our firefighters on a call, they may, in fact, not come back. And what that means to me and so many other individuals is that we've got to do anything and everything we can to protect their safety, to ensure their safety, and our prayers should be with them any and every which day. Again, this is a tremendously difficult time for all of us in San Francisco. Our two finest have perished, and there are so many other individuals that on a daily basis we put them in harm's way. And again, I appreciate Senator Leno's word of comfort, and we should add all of our words of comfort in these deepest and darkest time of this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Yee and Senator Leno, for your kind words, if you please bring the names forward so that we may properly honor our fallen heroes and their families. Senator Wright, for what purpose do you rise?
Well, certainly on a much lighter note than our sadness from San Francisco, would like to recognize a small business from the great city of Compton. And the president, Gabriel Garcia, is being honored here today by my colleague from Compton, Isidore Hall, his company, Lumar Industrial Metals Company, and they're in the back of the chamber. Please welcome my guests from the great city of Compton.
Congratulations to all of our small business awardees.
Also would like to recognize that this Saturday there was a historic first at the California State Track Meet. The meet was held in beautiful downtown Clovis in Mr. Berryhill's district. The city of Clovis really came together. This is the third year they've hosted the State Track Meet. The entire town gets involved in this process. There were some 20,000 people who kind of invaded Clovis, and a great time was had by all, particularly the first time in history the boys and girls were from the same school that won the championship. The Jackrabbits of Long Beach Poly are the boys and girls champions of the California State Championships, the first time that that's ever happened. So again, a round of applause to the constituents. The school is actually in Allen's district, but the kids actually come from my district, so we kind of split the difference. But to Coach Norford and Coach Crystal Irving, they do an excellent job of coaching and getting young people together. And finally, this was, our white suit day, and if everyone would come forward before we leave the chamber today, we'd like to get a picture before we get away. And certainly this afternoon, we'll welcome everyone across the street as we celebrate White Suit Day on the first Monday following Memorial Day. Thank you.
And that celebration will take place at Ellis. Ellis? Okay. Senator Yee.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I have one other in memoriam. Rennie Champagne passed away. He was a tremendous figure in San Francisco. He was the district commander for the VFW, and it was mainly his love for this country and our city that distinguished him over the years. He was very, very involved in all of the veteran activities within the city and county of San Francisco. For example, he was the lead individual for the Veterans Day Parade. He was the lead individuals to recognize the fallen heroes, those individuals who gave their lives for this particular country. And when it came to scholarships, he raised money for students, both public and private school, high school students, hoping that that would give them an extra boost as they move along in their career. He also did something was rather remarkable in San Francisco. There is a ceremony whereby the veterans honor individuals in the police, fire, and paramedic. It is a ceremony that includes both the San Francisco and San Mateo jurisdiction. And then on the side, he monitored, he helped, he organized a number of civic parades in San Francisco. He is survived by his wife, his children, grandchildren, and he will be sorely missed. He is a fixture in the life of this city, and unfortunately his passing has left a tremendous void for all of us. And again, thank you for the time to recognize Rennie Champagne.
Thank you, Senator. If you will bring the name forward so that we properly memorialize him in our records. Any other business members? Senator Dutton?
Yeah, there'll be a brief Republican caucus in Caucus Clubhouse immediately following session.
Okay. If there's no further business, Senator Harman, the desk is clear.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The request of the President Pro Tem, the Senate will be in recess until 3:30, at which time the adjournment motion will be made. We will reconvene on Wednesday, members, Wednesday at 3 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Meeting's in recess.